Okay, so about 2 years ago, I wrote a track which didn't have a name. It had some comedy file name, which I'm famous for, not naming tracks properly. I'm sure other people can relate to that. Which ended up being At Night and being the track that really put me on the map. It went on to become Bad Girl, and we did the whole thing with Universal, and it got a bit sort of a bigger commercial release as well. But one of the things that I was amazed people that asked me about how I made the track or how I make music in general was that it's all just in reason, and this is it. Well, this is a slightly edited down version because the original, as I said, has got some funny name that I can't find. But anyway, this one is called At Night, radio instrumental. So yeah, the whole process of it, I mean, to be honest, I don't really have any rules to how I do things. It's funny, we were talking earlier, some people kind of go into a studio at like 10 o'clock in the morning and know that they're going to finish at 6 and they're going to break for lunch like a proper job, and I just can't work like that. I when I get an idea, it's like, yep, go in and do it. It must annoy my girlfriend sometimes, but that's how I work. And it's like if I'm sat up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning getting something right so I can pick it up the next day, that's what I do. Just basically start playing about with the synth. I remember at the time I was messing about with oscillators and tuning them differently, you know, that whole kind of thing was going on. So there's the sound, which is just 2 oscillators chained together in Reason. The whole track's just in Reason, as I said earlier. So there we go, there's the sound. So I've got 2 oscillators here. This is the volume for each, it's like a crossfader. You've just got a mix between the 2. There's the 2 sounds that make the lead, I suppose you call it. People call it the bass line, but to me it's a bit of both. And then it's all about the filter and the release. So yeah, it's a pretty cool sound. And then I added some more stuff to it. An EQ. If I take all these off, it will sound probably okay, maybe, I don't know, but not so much attitude and kind of grit to it. So the EQ sort of boosted the sort of mid-high end, I guess, and then a little bit of it's actually a reverse reverb, which if I make it longer, like a beat, that's what it's actually doing, but it's just on 1/16. So it's just it just gives a little bit more in there. I can't explain it. It's just that's the sound. So that was it. Anyway, then I was just playing around with the melody. Ended up with the melody pretty much straight away. Over the top of my drums. I was already doing the drums. Let me just talk about the drums for a minute, actually, because if I put it on, so I'll loop. This is just looping now. Take out the synth and take out the bass. It's just drums. All these tracks here, apart from these 2 mutes, are drums. So I'll just break those down quickly for you. So that's 1 loop, which is there. So again, as I was explaining earlier with my drum programming, I kind of separate things. I don't fill every drum machine up with sounds, unless I'm really looking for something. So there's that. And then we've got a couple of the Dr. X loops, the recycled loops. So that's quite simple. That's the original. It's not a lot different, but there's some other sounds in there. Didn't want those, but I like the sound. Oh yeah, that little sound. That's where that's from. Some people probably got that in their sample banks or whatever. So I just like that little sound, so that went in there. And again, another loop. It was another drum loop. Where are we? There we go. Which is pretty cool still, sounds good. But I just like the sound that it had, not so much the pattern. So again, I just chose those sounds and got that. I think we got some more drums as well. I think it was the 808 stuff before I had my actual 808. Oh no, that's the famous spoon ride cymbal, which makes it into a lot of my tracks the same sound, but it's called Ride Monk, and it's part of the Reason Soundbank, so that's why you hear it in a lot of my tunes. It's there again with the sidechain on. You can see it there. And as I said, there's some other bits and bobs in there. I don't know what this is. Oh, that's the bass line. I'll come back to that in a minute because that's there's something quite funny in there. There you go. So they're just 808 samples with the screen distortion on, just to give them a bit more edge. Actually, it's this one. There we go. So that's the 808 sound without. It's kind of cool, but wasn't heavy enough for the track. So that just kind of gives it the attitude, if you like. And that's the clap sound that you hear in there, which again is just a 808 clap. I think goes through a RV7000, which is really, really cool. You know, you can get some real nice spaced out kind of effecty sounds. Like my explanation, effecty. Anyway, so that's my drums, and then we had the little effect sounds in there too, just to break these down. The clap sound. Oh no, we did the clap sound. There's the zap sound. So again, that is. It's got the RV7000 there again, so there you go. That's it without. That's in the Jungle Warfare sample bank. Remember where that came from. And this is really good. I mean, you've got the diffusion control on here as well, so I can make it go in from a delay into a reverb really. So we can do this kind of. So I didn't have any reverb on that. I just had it straight sort of delay with, you know, loads of delay on it. So that's cool. So that's that, and the little vocal bit, which
7 times out of 10 we listen to our music at night.
So there you go. There's the sample. I've messed it up a little bit. Again, put some distortion on it.
7 times out of 10.
That's the original.
7 times out of 10.
And it's got digital preset on, which is basically just a bit crusher. To be honest, they call it digital on here.
7 times out of 10 we listen to our music.
So if you're into your DJing as well, you've got that effect on the Pioneers now, on the mixers and stuff as well, even if you're not into production, so you can do all that stuff. So that's pretty much it. The bass sound, which it's actually, this is from the Norman Cook refill, and it's got a hi-hat. He's going to want some money now. You don't even hear the hi-hat. So it's kind of, that note holds somewhere in the track, but there's so much else going on that you don't hear the hi-hat. So that's the pattern that I did anyway with it. So again, this is the cut down version if I take all the solos off and reset the automation there. So there you go, and again, the automation on the effects and the release. That's the release on the synth. synth. Go to the breakdown. So it's quite a basic arrangement, really. All you've got on the sequencer, all this is drums, as you've just seen. You've got synth and a bass line, and it's just effects and stuff here. There's really nothing to it. Sometimes music's like that. It's easy to get carried away and want to fill everything up with all these amazing sounds and stuff, but the best records sometimes are just very simple and easier said than done, let me tell you, even for, you know, people that have been doing this for a long time, you know, let alone myself. It's hard to get the track just right sometimes, but with this I just found myself at this kind of stage after a couple of hours, which is kind of nearly unheard of. So it was all then about getting the sound of the track right and getting the arrangement right, that kind of thing on the original version that everybody knows.